All right. So ChatGPT 5.6 Luna and Grok 4.5 are going head to head right now. And the gap between them is way more lopsided than I expected. Grok 4.5 hits 62% on DeepS2E 1.0 and uses 4.2 times fewer output tokens per task than Opus 4.8. Grok 4.5 just dropped on July 8, 2026, so this is as fresh as it gets. I'm comparing ChatGPT 5.6 Luna versus Grok 4.5 across 4 real tests: reasoning, latency, pricing, and real-time web access. And every claim traces back to a verified source URL, no vendor spin. And yeah, one of these models has 0 published benchmark scores across all 4 dimensions, which means if you're picking the wrong one for a high-volume coding workflow, you could be burning through tokens at 4 times the cost without even knowing it. So this one's for developers and builders trying to figure out which model to actually put into a production workflow right now. A bad call here is real money at scale. API costs, token efficiency, whether the model can even pull live data, those are the things that decide whether your workflow runs or falls apart. Test 1 is multi-step reasoning accuracy. And this is where things get expensive fast. When a model breaks down on a multi-step coding task, it burns output tokens on wrong paths, forces you to rerun the whole thing, and sometimes hands you a broken result that looks correct until it isn't. And that's the failure mode you're trying to avoid. Okay, so what I found when I dug into the data is pretty interesting. Grok 4.5 scores 62% on DeepS2E 1.0 and resolves 64.7% on SWE Bench Pro, doing it on about 15,954 output tokens per task versus 67,020 for Opus 4.8, which is a real efficiency edge. ChatGPT 5.6 Luna, no published figure anywhere across all 11 sources. Now, before I call anything, take all this with a grain of salt. Grok 4.5's benchmark scores are vendor reported, and it still ranks 4th on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index as of July 2026. So it's not like this is a blowout. The absence of Luna data doesn't mean Luna loses. It just means we can't score it yet. Honestly, I was expecting at least 1 published score for Luna, and what I got was a complete blank across every source. So this one's a tie by default, and I mean that literally. We genuinely can't compare them, which puts the running score at ChatGPT 5.6, Luna 0, Grok 4.50. 1 tie. Test 2 is response latency under load. And this one hurts in a very specific way. When you're literally hammering a model with agentic tasks back to back, a slow time to first token compounds across every step. And every extra second of wait adds up across a full pipeline run, which is time your users are staring at a spinner. So I pulled the third-party numbers for Grok 4.5, and here's what we got. About 90 tokens per second on output throughput and a time to first token of around 13.8 seconds on a 10,000 token input, which actually came in higher than xAI's own vendor claim of 80 tokens per second for Luna, though no published latency figure exists in any of the sources. One thing to keep in mind, that 13.8 second time to first token on Grok 4.5 reflects real reasoning overhead, not just network lag, so the throughput number looks fast, but the startup cost is real. Also, the code planning latency note applies to GPT-5. 6 Sol, not Luna specifically, so I'm not going to pin that on Luna direct. I was expecting this to be the one where Grok 4.5 pulled ahead cleanly, and it kind of did on paper, but without any Luna figure to compare against, there's no fair way to score it, so it's a tie by data gap, and the scoreboard stays flat. Luna 0, Grok 4.50, 2 tests tied. Test 3 is subscription pricing versus capability, and this is where a lot of people get burned. You sign up, you start building, and then the bill at the end of the month is way higher than you planned because you didn't account for output token costs at scale, or you're on a plan that throttles you right when you need it most. So for Grok 4.5, the pricing ladder is actually pretty well documented. Super Grok at $30 a month, Super Grok Heavy at $300 a month with a $99 promo for the first 3 months, API access at $2 per million input tokens and $6 per million output tokens. And xAI gives developers up to $175 a month in free credits through their data sharing program. For Luna, no verified pricing figure in any of the 11 sources. Now, the $175 a month in free developer credits from xAI sounds great, but it comes through a data sharing program, so you want to read the terms before you build on it. And the Grok 4.5 API has no batch discount at launch, which matters if you're running high volume. Luna's pricing absence is just a blank we can't fill without making numbers up. Honestly, I was expecting at least a rough Luna price point to compare against, and it just doesn't exist in the research. So same situation as before, Grok 4.5 has a full pricing ladder on screen, Luna has nothing published, and calling a winner on that asymmetry wouldn't be fair. B tests in, 3 tied, Luna 0, Grok 4.50, 3 all. Test 4 is real-time web access and data freshness. And this one has a very concrete failure mode. You ask a model about something that changed 3 months ago, it gives you the old answer with full confidence. and you don't catch it until after you've already sent it to a client, which is completely avoidable if the model can actually pull live data. What surprised me here is how well documented Grok 4.5 setup actually is. Knowledge cutoff of February 1st, 2026 confirmed by press sources, deep search real-time web access included in the $30 a month Super Grok plan, and native X platform search as an add-on tool, which is a genuinely unique capability tied to XAI owning X. Luna's knowledge cutoff and web access details not published anywhere in the sources. One thing worth flagging before we score this, Grok 4.5 is blocked in the EU as of July 2026, so if your users are in Europe, the real-time web access advantage is kind of irrelevant for you. Also, deep search is included at $30 a month on consumer plans, but billed separately per call on the API, so the cost picture changes depending on how you're accessing it. So this is the one test where we can actually score something. I was expecting both models to have at least some documented web access story, but Luna has nothing published at all, and Grok 4.5 has a full setup with a cutoff date, deep search, and X platform integration. So Grok 4.5 takes it. Final scoreboard, Luna 0, Grok 4.5 1, 3 tied. Now, here's where ChatGPT 5.6 Luna actually has an edge. Users who ran the same legal brief through both models said Luna's outputs read like a person wrote them, not like a Wikipedia summary. And the chain of thought planning approach in the 5.6 lineup is built to cut wasted tool calls in agentic workflows. OpenAI's ecosystem, the plugins, the API tooling, the enterprise contracts, that's all already there. And here's where Grok 4.5 wins clearly. It uses roughly 4.2 times fewer output tokens per SWE bench pro task than Opus 4.8. So at scale, that's a real cost difference. The X platform search integration is something no other model in this comparison can touch. And the $175 a month free developer credit program through XAI is the most generous free tier documented across all 11 sources. Okay, so I was expecting a closer fight, and what I actually got was one model with published data and one with almost none. So here's the decision rule. If you need outputs that sound naturally written and you're already in an enterprise ecosystem built on OpenAI, go with ChatGPT 5.6 Luna. But if you're doing high volume agentic coding and token efficiency at $2 per million input tokens matters to your unit economics, Grok 4.5 is the call.